All right, welcome to Acoustic Elusive, guys. Today I have a very special piece we're going to talk about today. This is the Sansui G-8000 stereo receiver out of the late 70s, I think 79, maybe 80. I don't know if it's a monster receiver or whatnot or classified, but it's absolutely a gorgeous piece. Solid, like a solid steel type front piece that's folded over. That is what you see there with all the knobs attached to it. 52 pounds of high current. It's got a large power supply, big caps inside. I think it's got 4 large capacitors. I'm pretty sure it's about 125 to 140 watts, 8 ohms. Don't quote me on that. It could be close. I think it might even be close to doubling into 4 ohms. Anyway, this thing is a beast. It's ridiculous, like 19 inches wide. It's super heavy to lug around. In fact, this is why they have actually all the connections on the side, which you'll see in a minute. Beautiful piece, well constructed. This thing I got was in fantastic shape. Only had a few scuffs on top, but in the front faceplate was gorgeous. All the UV meters lit up. Everything worked. The volume control was like butter. It had a lot of weight to it. I'm sorry, the tuner had a lot of weight to it and would just glide from side to side. No hissing or noise in the pots and or in the knobs or anything needed to be cleaned. It was just really actually good shape. Again, I've got this piece and I'm just giddy as a schoolgirl. I'm like, wow, $1,600 plus $2,000 for this thing? I paid what for it? And I'm immediately thinking more gear. I'm getting rid of more gear. I'm selling more gear off. And I played around with it for a couple weeks. I'm like, God, this thing sounds really good. Tried different speakers on it. Never flinched. Didn't have too much more time to play with it, but what I did hear, I was very impressed. And I was, wow, now I see what the hype is about these things. Highly recommended. So without too much fuss on this, I'll talk a little bit about the receiver. It's obviously very well built. Apparently when they went to a different company or a different ownership, I believe they went to, like, this is the 8500 series after this. I've heard maybe parts weren't as good. Maybe not quite as good sounding. I have no clue. I only have familiarity with this piece because I played with it for a couple weeks. Also had the G-3000, which is also highly recommended. I got that. It was like 20 pounds, way less power, but drove high efficiency, high sensitivity speakers with the same kind of tonality. Everything sounded great. Still had good body. It actually sounded like a receiver that had more power than it actually showed. And so I ended up selling that in a trade too. And I was like, that one had a little noise in the pots and needed some, like, one time the input is like, you had to get it right on that input selector. It was like one of the channels was half in, half out. Needed work. Needed some new parts and some cleaning or whatever it needed. So I ended up trading that. Sorry that I sold that piece. But before I sold it, obviously I have it here for review, so let's talk about it. So the front panel here, you've got all your knobs on the front. You're looking at your tone controls. There's a mid-range treble and bass control. All the way over to the right here, you're looking at, there's the one underneath over the button over the, what is that, the microphone thing. That's a volume control. But over here you got your power on top. Well, anyway, look at the top of this thing. This thing has got ventilation. You can take the top of the cabinet off. It's a wood, it's like a wood piece that goes over it. I guess you can have it with or without. I've seen pictures with these things with or without the case. All the wires, and there's a wire mold that you see on the side there. All the wires go in this side, and that's where everything connects. Like on this side, you've got all your inputs, FM. I think your pre-out main ins, I believe, are on this side. Don't quote me. It could be on the other side. I think they're on the side. And again, FM, AM, all your inputs on here, including phono, which I didn't do. I just did the auxiliary on this because this piece is so large, again, 19 inches wide. It doesn't even fit in a normal rack. So the combination of the weight, I guess they decided that it was too cumbersome for people to try to pull these things in and out of the racks or on top of whatever to get behind it. So they just came up with this system. It's a little different. I'm okay with it because really the whole thing about this thing is looking from the front. And then you tuck in the wires, everything still looks tidy from the side. So I'm like, I have no issue with it. Some people might. The G-3000, by the way, didn't. Everything's connected in the back. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, beautiful piece. So over on the sides over here, we're going to see there's a wire molding on the other side here real quick. It's going to show you, but these are your volume, what do you call it? Your input selectors, not input, sorry, tone controls. Treble, mid-range, bass control. There's a tone defeat button. There's a mute button on top of that. Obviously, your power button on the left. Maybe one other button up here. I'm not quite sure which is. But then there's your volume knobs and whatnot. But On the side over here is where your speaker connectors are. This more wire molding, it's only for pins or bare wire. And yes, the pre-out main ends are on this side as well. And I had to use an adapter, by the way, so I'm using banana plugs into those little pin connectors. But yeah, the pre-out main ends, I think there's a switch on there. Maybe you can engage it, disengage it. There's no jumpers. I don't remember having the jumpers. Either way, the stereo was working fine. So I never got a chance to run it to an external amp. I think I might have actually tried an external amp. But really, I played with the receiver because it actually sounded so good and powerful. I was just like so glad to have the thing going and working and sounding so good. I was just, enthralled with it for 2 weeks. I tried different gear. But anyway, on the front of this, very interesting little setup here, very clean. A lot of these receivers have, very interesting. I think the look of this thing was really clean and very cleverly laid out. Over there, that's your tuner. This is your volume control over here. In the middle of that is your balance button. And then over here on the bottom, there's power switch. Obviously, you've got a mute button. There's a tone defeat. There's some sort of a loudness type button over there. I have to look at that again. These middle button, you've got mid-range, treble, and bass controls. Oh yeah, there's also a there's a tone defeat. And I don't know if there's any filter cutting on that. I have to look at what pieces are where on that. But there is a loudness button and a subsonic filter you see in the middle above that balance control over there. Not sure what the other button is, but yeah, you've got loudness and then you've got a subsonic filter, I believe, that cuts out. You might have a high frequency cut on there too. I believe that might be what that third button on the right is on top in the middle. Don't quote me on that. But you've got, so volume control, tuner, and by the way, the tuner again glides like butter and it has a lot of weight to it. Again, you let go of the tuner after you're spinning the knob, it's got like resistance. So it's got some sort of like a big rubber band system in there with the tuner. Works great. Pulls in station, super solid. And over here you got your input selectors. This particular one right here, I believe, is your input selector. No, the right is your input selector. And then you've got, nope, I'm sorry, left one is input selector on the bottom. And then, not sure what that 4 speaker filter thing is there in the middle there on those bras. But then you've got your tape inputs. There's tape loop, and then there's different things with the tape monitor inputs. On the right, your mic, and then you've got your volume control for the mic. And above that, you've got like a Dolby digital filter, some sort of noise abatement switch all the way on the right. Then you've got your AM FM switch, muting, and or mono stereo mode. So that covers basically all the switches. Again, I think anybody who's looking for some pieces, you're looking for vintage hi-fi and you can find this at the right price. I still think if you know you have to have it and you're willing to pay the money, absolutely, you grab it, because there's only so many of these out there, especially if it works perfectly. Obviously, if you can find a deal on it, the reason I sold it is, I was like, wow, I paid $60, less than, got $1,600 for it, a range. I thought, well, I can always find another one. I actually found the G-8000 for like $170. So whether I got a fair trade on that or not, I'm still up to debate. I switched it for this big Harman Kardon amp. And anyhow, highly recommended. It's a fantastic piece. You will not be disappointed. I don't know about Pioneers. I don't know about the Harman Kardons, the old Fishers or Yamahas or Akais or whatever else they had these wars way back then. I can only tell you that this was the best sounding receiver I've ever heard, and I've heard some of the Pioneers, people like them, don't like them. Couldn't tell you. The Marantz stuff is obviously extremely popular, and the price points are also right up there, same with this, or more. I don't know about that. I don't know if I would even futz around with that. I've heard maybe the Marantzes have more warm body tonality to it. I'm not really sure. This thing sounds perfectly balanced. I thought it was like near neutral. So good. Anyway, don't hesitate. You find one of these on the market and you have the means to grab it, by all means, definitely grab it. So, hope you enjoyed the review. Hit that subscribe and like button. We're going to talk more content soon. Until then, wow, I'm really enthralled, and now I'm actually looking at the classic hi-fi stuff, and I'm sure I'll have to find some other pieces out there and play with the different stuff, the Harman Kardon 430s and all the Pioneer offerings, if I guess I have to do that. And the Marantz pieces, I had a chance to get one of the little 30 watt amp ones for, I guess for like, I don't know, $700, $800, and I passed on it too. Probably could have grabbed that. Anyhow, no disappointments other than I shouldn't have sold it. Grab one of these as soon as you can. The just G-8000 and 9000. I don't know about below that. You still have great sound. Everything sounds great. You just have less power speakers that you can push them with. This has plenty of current. It's 52 pounds. It's super high current. It's a brick, and it's built like a tank. Beautiful. Everything's class on it. So, absolutely. I'll keep you updated on all that. Hope you enjoyed this channel, guys. Stay tuned for more. Again, my goal on this is always quantity over quality when it comes to stereo and audio. Started out in this business with fuzzy sound dispersion, bipole type speakers, and an audio receiver, and just a standard audio video receiver, and thought I was in heaven until someone pointed out to me high fidelity and more refinement, and the difference between mid-fi and hi-fi, and or quality mid-fi and hi-fi. And yeah, it's all about the fidelity and realism and transporting to the you are there sound quality. This particular piece for a receiver, it does about that. I mean, it's fantastic. So again, until next time, we're going to talk more about it, and definitely click up all the classic pieces you can buy, and we'll talk to you soon. Hope you enjoyed the video.